1, 2, 3, go! Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles!
Now I'm making an in defense of Fast Forward video at some point. I'm not sure if that's coming out before or after this video, but if you're seeing this, just know that I absolutely loved Fast Forward as a kid, and even now I don't consider it completely unbearable. I do like it, but it's kind of crazy that we almost got a second season of it back in like '07 or sometime around that. Fast Forward is kind of interesting as it did end up airing before the Turtle Tribunal saga, but it was created after it. It's weird. It's weird. The whole timing of it is strange because I remember watching this stuff, but I don't remember it being 2007 because I would have been like fucking 4 and I wouldn't have remembered. But either way, that's a little tangent aside. We almost got a second season of Fast Forward. It's kind of crazy to think about. But we have a few of the titles from what would have been the second season of Fast Forward. Some of the titles being Master Fighter 2105, Something Wicked, Bounty Hunting, Turtles Everywhere, Law and Disorder, The Devil and Mr. Stockman, The Incredible Shrinking Sterling, Space Usagi, City Under Siege, and Homeward Bound. Let's get something out the way. So, some of these titles are kind of strange, but we ended up seeing versions of these episodes in Back to the Sewerds. So, I mean, some of the ideas were reused eventually, like The Incredible Shrinking Sterling, like that is an actual episode with the Turtle Tots that takes place in Back to the Sewerds. I also find this title, The Devil in Dr. Stockman, to be kind of weird because it implies that Dr. Stockman is evil, which makes no sense considering the first season of the first season of Fast Forward, he literally got cured. Like he's human again. Like he has a body. Like why would he be evil now? Maybe this involved some form of time travel. I don't know. That would create a time loop, but like I don't know. It's weird. Space Usagi is an interesting one because here's the thing: Space Usagi is like an actual comic book that actually exists outside of the Turtles and had existed for a while. I think it came out of like the '90s or even the '80s, maybe. I don't know. It's kind of interesting because I think that is a spin-off of the Usagi comics that either stars a descendant of Usagi or like Usagi in the future. It would make sense why they would be able to cross over with the Turtles in this season, but like, it's cool, but like, I mean, I don't know. I really don't feel any type of way towards it. It sounds cool, but like, I don't really care about Usagi as is. Just joking. I have read the comics. What I meant to say is I don't care about Space Usagi. City Under Siege is also an interesting title, but one of the titles that I do find to be kind of cool is Master Fighter 2105, and I only find that to be cool because we've actually seen some of the animatics from that, and by the way, the animatics sound really weird without actual sound effects. Like, it sounds like Sterling is literally deep-throating right here. Like, bro, I don't care if I'm dirty-minded. That don't sound right. That don't sound right. As a kid, I always loved Fast Forward, and I really was sad when we went back to the Sewerds. Not because I genuinely had any sort of disdain for the Seward setting, but because Back to the Sewerds was like the crappiest freaking season ever. I don't care. People like to slander Fast Forward, but I just think people who slander Fast Forward have just not seen Back to the Sewerds, because Back to the Sewerds was genuinely horrible back in the day. Like I was obsessed with TMNT before we went into the future, but after we went into the future, I was freaking like hyped. Every time I heard that theme song, I would just start dancing. And then we went back to the Sewerds, and I didn't even care if I missed the show. Like I remember my dad would just show up and be like, "Yo, you have a doctor appointment," and I'd just be like, "Yeah, I don't care if I missed this episode. I don't care." Usually I would cry and jump around and run around and just cry some more, but I didn't care about missing freaking this crap. A lot of people's main complaint about TMNT Fast Forward was that it didn't have a version of the Shredder, which is weird because a lot of those same people complained that the 2003 series had way too many versions of the Shredder, but Fast Forward Season 2 was supposed to have its own version of the Shredder. Apparently, it was supposed to be a Triceraton. And I've known this for a while, but the crazy thing about this is that it was technically the original well, not original. It was supposed to be Shirel, which is the second Shredder, who's the Utrom Shredder, and apparently he was supposed to wrap around a Triceraton freaking face or something and become like some sort of futuristic Shredder, which just sounds freaking epic. Now, admittedly, we got a pretty cool concept for the Shredder with Cyber Shredder and Back to the Sewerds, but I felt like that was never fully realized, and that character was always very confusing as one. As a kid, I always thought that it was just Viral being delusional, but apparently this is a completely different character who is apparently the digital backup of the Utrom Shredder, meaning that he has all of the Utrom Shredder's like brain and thoughts and all that stuff, which is just weird. Just so weird. Because his character is pretty inconsistent with Sharel. Now, tangents aside, there doesn't really seem to be any sort of reason why they went with Back to the Sewerds over Fast Forward Season 2. It just seems like they decided to just, go with Back to the Sewerds. There doesn't seem to be any specific reason, anything specific at all. It just seems like they were throwing around concepts and that this concept just didn't get very far. Again, I made a video about the other concept that never got made for the season after Fast Forward, which was this weird idea to have the Turtle Tots team up with the Teenage Turtles, or I guess they're technically adults at this point. I don't even know how old they are. Either way, that I made a whole video about that I'll be linking right about now. Yeah, so if you guys like this video, remember to like, subscribe, and leave your comments down below, because I do read most comments. The only times in which I don't read comments is when you guys comment and YouTube just doesn't tell me about your comments half the time, I'll be completely honest. But hey, if you've made it this far into the video, just type L or W for kids, and I'll make sure to heart your comment.
Unleash the power of the sun!
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme song, take one.
What's green and mean like a fighting machine?
All the makings of a superhero regime.
Turtles!
Say it again. Next.
I'm like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I'm gonna pound you till your face is purple.
Next. They'll be coming from the sewers when they come. They'll be coming from the sewers when they come. Next. Now for the real network premiere of the real Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme song.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.